Mark in the count. The swing arm now coming back as our countdown continues.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Brick Something, and you are watching the Brick Something News, which stands for the needless ephemera we saw. And today I am joined by this man, Emil Wickman, or I've been told that people call him Emil Wickman all the time. So, Emil, hello, welcome to the channel.
Thank you so much. Thank you much. Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Yes, I've been reaching out to you for a little bit, and then we put it on pause, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to be doing this Legions Con thing. And so as of last week, I've been trying to gear the show a little bit more towards Four Horsemen stuff and pretty much everything that we're going to be seeing there. And so I'm happy to have you on as sort of the first person that I'm not related to last week.
I'm honored.
Yeah, especially because I have talked about your work here before, and I absolutely love your work. I think, I'm not alone in this, but you've been steadily moving through like all these different sort of universes of fiction. Oops, ignore that. That's Apple. These fictional universes that I love, and even touching on ones that I know very little about, and you're bringing it into like one of my favorite action figure I guess canvas in Mythic Legions and Four Horsemen. It's been amazing. Yeah,
the Legions canvas, that was a great way to put it.
Yeah, that's your canvas, man. That it seems like one of the many forms of media that you seem to be working on, right?
Yep. But I do love the Legions line, and it's what the creativity it's generating, not only to me but to others.
Yes, which is a perfect way to start this conversation about Legions Con, because while I actually love the toys, I love everything that's around the toys. Obviously, there's a lot that's often said about the community and the strength of the community, the sort of like close-knit but warm and openness of it. And I found that, like, myself.
Totally agree.
And, I think not only that, it's like the level of creativity that is sort of around it. I've said this a lot, how like I think there's this indie toy thing happening right now that is amazing, whether it's some of the lines that Spero and that we were talking about earlier, or Savage Crucible, or I'm just looking around.
You have figures all over, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like Meta Travelers is coming. We were talking about them last week, about like all the ones that have sort of even just popped up in the last couple of years: Armies of Ashmore, Defenders of Eden, etc. But like, it seems like it's like the Four Horsemen are kind of like a weird hub of that activity. I don't know. Have you noticed this as well?
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. And because it's an encouraging environment. I mean, not only for fans, but for want to be toy lines or toy companies. So it's like you feel very. I mean, they're great at embracing people, people in general, actually.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I've always wondered about that. So I'm really curious to meet everybody in the studio and just get to know them a little bit more. I have my theories as to maybe why they're good at embracing people, and particularly creatives. I had the opportunity to meet Nate, and we were talking twice now, and we were sort of just Nate Barch here when he was in Sacramento for our little tiny version of a con mythic meetup in Sacramento, which is awesome. But he, as someone who's now an employee, I asked him about, like, oh, you're still doing all this other creative work, and he's like, yeah, they're the best bosses, because they understand people and they understand creativity, and they recognize that, like, you can't box people in and say, this is the only thing you're going to do. And they highly encourage them to go do other work outside the studio, which was a big, which is affirming. I mean, it's like, okay, yeah, that absolutely makes sense. Because as a creative person myself, you get stagnant if you're doing the same thing. Even as someone who's collaborated, if you're collaborating with the same people for so long, you need input. So I've just noticed that. I feel like it's a hub. I feel like they've been incredibly supportive for the indie toy scene. I'm just, last week we went through some of the new toy lines that even have emerged coming out of like LegionsCon, people showing their stuff there first. Anyway, that said, you also have been creating things. Before we say hello to the chat, hello chat, I want to start with this because you're going to hear a lot about action figures and toys, but just to, if I could get to this, Emil is now this is not your first book project, is that right?
It's not my first book. No, I did a long time ago. I did books as well.
But you are most recently, as of last week, I think it was sort of like revealed to folks. This book is The 2 Words That Saved Christmas, written by Nate Strong and our own Emil Wickman. Can you tell us a little bit about how this came together? I just heard about it last Tuesday. I got it in hand on, was it on Monday or Tuesday? And got it in hand Thursday.
So I got mine in Tuesday, actually, myself.
You too. Okay.
Yeah. So it's new in my hand. But I mean, the Four Horsemen Studio is the hub there as well. It really is. And
exactly.
You introduced it extremely well. Nate Strong and I was on our way to LegionsCon. Like we're gonna talk about, we were in the car on our way to LegionsCon, and that's where our relationship started. We were there with a number of great guys from Michigan. That was a lot of things happened during that first trip, and one of the things were the friendship between me and Nate Strong. And he had written this book 20 plus years ago.
Yeah. Wild.
And it's like, when you have creativity and you just have to get it out of you. But then it stay there in his drawer. So, we talking about different things, talking about, creativity, what we like, what we enjoy doing, what we do. And, at one time he asked me, would you be interested in doing this with me? Really doing the book. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I want to do it, because I multiple reasons, but I love Nate. And when I read it, what he had written, I was like, yes, I want to do this, even more, because I love the story. So that's where it started. And, we actually started talking a long time ago about this, but time didn't allow this to be, we talked about doing this last year. But but this year was probably the right year to do it,
So once you started putting it together, how long have you been working on? So to be clear, Nate had the text for some 20 years, and then
he rewrote some of it to change a few things. But
It is a children's book, by the way, and I tried to put the link in the chat, and I realized it was like really long, but I'll get that in there in a second. But so it's written. It's a Christmas story, and it's written in this sort of like sing-songy prose, right? Like, which is perfect. It's like your "'Twas a Night Before Christmas," almost the same sort of rhythm, right? Ish.
Yeah.
But the story is actually centered around Santa, and I'll leave it at that. But I'll just start here. So as far as the illustrations and you, like, how long did that take for you to kind of get it done? I'll flip through real quick. I don't want to reveal everything.
Yeah, it's hard to say how much time if you lump it up for a a set amount of time, because I've been working on it during this year. Starting to doing sketches, putting it aside, doing customs, then picking it up, continuing, doing other stuff, picking it up. So it's this year, but that's what I can say about the time.
Okay. Yeah, and so it's kind of an off and on thing.
That is exactly what it is.
And
because there have been a lot of projects this year, but this is the project that has taken the most time.
Love it. And then you've got the little portraits of you, and there's you and there's Nate as elves. And so you did everything. You did the artwork, I'm assuming digitally. It looks kind of more digital.
And that's another thing, because I've been interested in doing illustration on an iPad, and I got an iPad and started working on it, but I didn't get hooked on it. I was using a Photoshop on a computer, right. Otherwise when I illustrate on, but I decided that this could also be the project for me to, the reason, the excuse for me to learn how to use an iPad. So that's how I actually started. And then during the summer, I could sit outside and just sit and sketch. And it's like, wow, this made me, I could sit on the couch outside somewhere, and that was lovely.
You're a mobile artist, and you have all your tools. You don't have to pack up. Yeah, there is a beauty to it.
Yeah, and it was very tricky, but still, it's like, I think I'm curious to do more now.
Okay.
I finalized the final things on my PC anyway with in Photoshop, but starting with an iPad.
So did you lay it all out at all in InDesign or something, or is it?
No, I actually didn't do anything in InDesign this time, because I did everything in Photoshop with different pages, and then I saved it to you upload a PDF, and when I done books before, then I've used InDesign, but this is put up on Amazon.
Gotcha.
So they didn't want to have it that way, so it was easier to just put the images together and into a PDF, and just skip InDesign altogether.
So actually, thanks for mentioning that. So you're authors, you're an illustrator, and also now technically a book publisher, because this is self-published via Amazon. Is that how that works?
Amazon, yeah.
Excellent. So on that note, here, let's go ahead and let's move ourselves. How do I move ourselves? Let's do that. There you go. Look, folks, you can buy this now as of September 18th, 2024. Your pricing might look different where you're at. If folks don't realize it's nighttime for Emil over in Sweden. But there you go. Check it out. And that link will be in the links for the show. So let's go ahead and actually go there. If you're not familiar with the concept and you're watching this thing going like, what is this thing I'm watching? So we do here, we'll talk about all sorts of stuff. The acronym is news, but it's actually, some of the stuff isn't even news. It's stuff that's been around for a while, but it's just needless ephemera that we're looking at and geeking out over. In this case, we're going to talk about stuff relevant to Legions Con and Emil's work. Sometimes we talk books. So if you're interested in that book, check it out. The 2 Words That Saved Christmas by this guy and Nate. Yeah, don't forget Nate. Let's see. Okay, with that said, let's get going here, but we should say hello to everyone. Let's see. Okay. All right. Awesome. I love it. This show is brought to you by the 2 Words That Saved Christmas. Okay. And Amazon. Hey, Nick. Hello. Hello to you, sir. We've got Ray Paz, who I noticed earlier has been promoted to ringleader. So congratulations, sir, on the promotion. Hey, look at this guy here to say hello to you and me.
Hello. Hello.
And I'm happy because he will be 2 weeks before Legions Con will be hanging out here too to come back.
Conversation you will have.
Yeah, it'll be his second time, which I'm excited to sit down with him again. Larry's Geeky World. Hello there, sir. JMax77. Look, you are amazing. Nolan, how's it going? Zio Adams, also in Europe. Hello, sir. Josh Brown is here. Solo Sinner. Sorry. Crushing it with awesome. No, every guest. It's great. That's basically, Emil, this is my way of meeting awesome people to hang out with and nerd out about. So
that's awesome.
That's the secret. Kenzo knows, knows what's up. I don't care about sports whatsoever, as Chris knows. Hello. So yeah, when those conversations come out in Legion's Con, you'll just sort of see my eyes glaze over
just
and
zoom out and go,
yeah. Okay, cool. Where's the action figures again?
Where's the plastic?
Jason, what's up? Jason from Spero
hello,
is here. Hope you're doing good. I hope you all are safe out in Atlanta. I know there's some weather out there, and they had a good show this weekend too. They were at Joanna, showing off some stuff that we'll take a look at. Star is here. Great to see you. Andrew Gady's Toys. Ahoy, hoy, all. Let's see. I saw Chris, but I'm going to say hello again because I like to say shiny plastic people. Adam, highly articulated, would like to know if books will be available at Legion's Con.
They will be available. Nate will soon, or later at least, do some kind of pre-order. Just to, so we know about how many we will bring. He will do that in the Cabal. So look, keep your eyes open.
Yeah. And then autographs, is that a
thing?
I remember them saying.
Want to, absolutely, yes. And I mean, me and Nate were only available once a year when we're together. It's only that weekend.
Yeah. Perfect. The weekend where the idea hatched, actually.
Yes.
So Adam, I was mentioning before we started, Adam has little kids. So Adam, this is, I think, the perfect kind of bedtime book because it's fun to read, it's sing-songy, and also there's some really good stuff that I think is affirming for old people as well as the young people who hear the story. Some good reminders in the book. Yes. I'll leave it at that. Aaron. I said Andrew Gady's Toys. Aaron Payne's Toy Samples. Hello there, sir. Thank you for joining us today. Look, see? There you go, man. They know what's up.
You're too kind.
The folks know you. John to the Ross is here. Hey, it's Ted, the real Robo Tribe. And the answer is...
Yes.
Yeah. You knew that. Brian George, Endless Fables, is here. Hello, sir. He'll be on in a couple of weeks, and we're going to be talking AWOC photography and all that kind of stuff. Let's see. And see, look, people want it. There you go. It's a thing.
Thanks, Josh. Happy
old
to.
People, raise your hand. Just to be clear. That's my demographic. So, so you all can put your hands down, and KJ Smith is here. Okay. So we are going to go through a bunch of stuff. And as you're probably seeing down here at the bottom, there's this little URL. Go to that bit.ly/Brick Something News at the end of the show, and you'll be able to see all the links to everything that we talked about. Let's see. I think, yeah. And then there's a QR code that'll be down there over there. So yeah. Okay. Let's go and get started. Let's talk blah, blah, blah. The scene. This is where we're going to be. Yes.
Oh yeah.
I'm in California, by the way. And so there's a lot of groaning about oh man, it's so hard for these folks on the West Coast to get here. And I think you can officially tell them all to shut up because what's your travel going to be like?
Travel is going to be a little bit longer this year, but we're going to go to London and then go to Chicago, and then we're going to go to Grand Rapids, Michigan. And then, we're going to have a 12-hour car ride to New Jersey. Okay. That's our plan. Okay.
That's the route. That's so you're... And that have you been doing that every year that you've been going?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, okay. We're all going to Grand Rapids. That's every year. Going to Muskegon.
Okay. Oh,
be
that's
with
right.
My friends there. Yeah, well,
that's right. I'll
be staying at me and Tomas. We're gonna be at Stephen and Courtney's house.
Wonderful.
Stephen Bishotti. That's meet all the lovely people over there.
Yes, and then so that means we'll probably see you again on some of the podcasts on My Wife is Gonna Kill Me maybe again, and like I think you did that.
Like that. Yeah, we've done that annually now, it feels like.
Yes. Yeah. So it's a whole thing for you, which is great because yeah, that's a big trip. So anyone like myself complaining about not being able to go from the West Coast and how hard it is and blah blah blah, shut it. Okay, so folks know what's going on. Before we sort of get started a little bit about all the different things that'll be there, I did this with Ted as well. Well, actually, let's do this. You are here. So stop by table number 8 if you're coming to the con and check this guy out. We're going to take a look at some of the things you're going to bring, but do you have a sense of how many custom figures you'll be having on your table this year?
Yes, and it actually is more than I initially thought, but it's going to be about 50 customs.
Ooh.
And then I'm going to have, yeah, sorry.
Oh, no.
I'm going to have some painted heads, make sure that I bring some painted head sculpts there and, you know, the book, and then there might be something else as well.
That's great. So there may be something else. You heard that, a little something surprise. But for those of us that maybe, I know a lot of the figures were, what do you call them? People ask you to make them.
Commissions?
Thank you. Thank you. I struggle with the English language. But yes, so some of them are already spoken for. And then maybe some of them are sold, but you'll have...
There are all categories. There are commissioned customs that are, you know, going to be picked up there.
Okay.
There are figures that I've made, and when people have seen them, they've been like, can I reserve that? And then I, you know, reserve them. But then there are also figures that have not been reserved, and then there are also some figures that have not yet been shown.
Okay.
And then I have had some of my older customs with Wolf King Customs during, you know, attending different cons this summer. So they are going to be there. So I'm going to sell those as well.
Great. So you'll have, and then there'll be sort of a range. If you're anticipating that you can't maybe bring home or afford a figure, it sounds like you're going to have the painted heads as well,
yes.
Which is
heads
great.
Would probably be $35 each.
Okay.
Yep. That's
perfect. That's great. So there you go, folks. You know, save up. And I think Adam's tip for anyone, everyone who has a chance to get an Emil custom, don't wait to make your purchase. They will sell out quickly. Yes. And so I'm not selfish. I would have like hidden that comment and just sort of gone, but no, 100%. You should get this artist's work and check it out early. But they sit there the whole time, right? So that people will be able to see it, and then you send it home with people at the end.
Yes, I ask to have them, you know, be able to be there the whole weekend. But I mean, sometimes there is a person who's, you know, only attending Saturday.
Fair enough.
I'm not going to force them to wait. Right. You know, it's like so. But I ask if I can hold them there until Sunday.
Okay. So table 8, and you know, there's going to be that's a thing. You know, we were talking and I was asking him, hey, what do you want to talk about at the show? And it's really tough because if you take a look, like there's a lot of wonderful stuff that's going to be there, and like a lot of talent, right? And so I'm going to put out there that what we're looking at today are things that I've sort of chosen to sort of fit within our time today. Ted and I looked at some stuff last week. So
some great stuff last week.
Yes.
We picked a lot of great artists, you know?
Yeah. And there's plenty more. So, so if you're bummed that Emil isn't talking about your stuff, it's my fault, not his. If he had the chance, he'd talk about everything. Oh, yes. Yes. Blame me, the newbie. Okay. So I just wanted to say that right off the bat. And then let's go ahead and take a look at some stuff first before we get over there. Let's look at some of the official things. And I wanted to pick your brain as somebody who is a customizer, who thinks both of, like, I know you love the figures as presented by the team, but you also look at these things with the eye of your work. So I'm curious to hear your initial thoughts on these exclusives. And what you're thinking about in terms of like parts, what you're excited by in terms of the possibilities for your work.
Yeah. So many of these parts, if we only talk about the parts, many of these parts or I would say, I mean, almost all of them are already available. So they're not new parts. But if you look at this, for example, you have the old Atlas head and you have the old King Bromden head. So Atlas is the right head to the right. And then we have in the middle there, you have King Bromden. Those are two heads that are really hard to come by.
Exactly.
So if you, as a customizer, that you're gonna be able to make some cool stuff only with those. High value for soft goods. If you've been buying soft goods from other sources, there are a lot of great third-party soft goods, manufacturers or people who are making them. Looking at these factory-made ones, it's you get a lot of fun customizable stuff where you get a lot of stuff here. But there are not many new parts. I mean, we can talk about the monk character. There are a lot of bare new parts. I realize that now. That was
the arms, and then also aren't some of the wraps newer, like these down here?
I do wonder about the lower wraps. If the lower wraps are from the brute scale figures, or I can't remember now if it's from the brute scale or if it's I think it is. I think it might be. I'm not sure. But just using bare legs will also be fun.
Yes. But it's a great point that you bring up, and that's why I ask you. Like, I love to get your thinking, because you're absolutely right. It's like, yeah, some of these things we've had, but they're not easy to come by, and likely if you have the figures that these came on, and you realize how valuable they are and scarce they are, you're probably not necessarily jumping in right away to carve them up or repaint them. Although that doesn't seem to stop you sometimes. But yes.
but I mean, maybe I'm disturbed some way. But it's like, but it's the biggest hobby in the world for me. So that's worth a lot for me to be able to do that. I am not saying that anyone should, but seeing that Jeremy Gerard is the one who's putting these together, you can clearly see that he's using parts that are like him being a customizer himself. You can really feel like he has been putting parts together, both making characters that he wants to make, but also like what parts would be fun to use for customizing. You know? So those two heads are examples I really think he's thought about here.
Yeah, I love that. And I love I've this has come up a lot on the show with other customizers, but it's so great to see how these parts have so much life beyond the first time we see them, or even the second time we see them. And we'll see that, like, that came up just with the recent figure Obscura, like seeing that Hagnon head done in that particular way. It was just amazing.
That was a nice paint job for sure.
Yes.
That was,
Okay. On that note, how about the cosmic side of things? What do you what's intriguing you on this?
So Novian Lean is my, one of my absolute favorite Cosmic Legions figures. And one thing that annoys me, not annoys me, but when you're making a custom figure, then you're like, oh, it's a little bit tricky because he has only one glove and the other hand is more like a cybernetic, cosmic. And this character has two gloves. That's something that I instantly felt like, oh, I appreciate that. Love the paint job on the Magnus head.
Perfect example. Like, you take a head that you've seen so many times and take a different approach with the paint, and you're like, oh wow, okay, that's great.
I think that character might be my favorite of
this one.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite of these 4 reveals.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you suspect that we'll be getting more than what's been revealed so far?
More
figures that they haven't sort of revealed for people to be able to get as sort of a Legions Con thing?
I don't know, but not if they do. I don't think it's gonna be a Legions Con. Then it's gonna be something, because these are for Legions Con, know. But for Horsemen, I they might have something extra up their sleeve for sure.
Yeah.
That can absolutely happen. And so there these are a lot of great parts. Being like me, having stacked up, or what do you say, stocked up?
Stocked up, like got a bunch of parts of.
So for that reason, I already have a lot of the parts. But
Oops.
This is going to be a lot of fun to see what we make of these.
I'm so curious. So you're sending a bunch of stuff in. I know a bunch of your figures in. Do you have an exit strategy? Meaning, are you ready to bring a bunch of things home? Are you limited on what you can bring back?
My goal is to not bring anything back.
Okay.
But I mean,
I'm sorry. My bad. I didn't mean for you to bring back your things. I mean, are you bringing a lot of new purchases home? How do you figure that out? Like,
no, I'm absolutely bringing stuff back. For example, I mean, even if you only look at the Four Horsemen table, there you have a lot of figures. The time to stock up on things. What can I want more Callis here, for example.
Okay.
That's a character I wouldn't mind buying more of. But there might also be figures that I don't have that I really want to put on my shelf. And then we have all the floor of all the different parts to look at.
Yeah, that's amazing. So yeah, I was just wondering, because I know you're shipping a lot of your stuff early. I didn't know, what does that mean? Are you bringing back a certain amount of bags? Are you shipping things back?
Well,
it's none of my business.
I kind of have a goal to make. I think I have a goal to everything that I bring back. I want to fit it in my bags.
In one bag, okay. Or your bags.
Yes, but if that won't, be enough, then I'm gonna ask, Len with Wolfkin Custom. Probably I'll ask him if he can keep a couple of boxes for me and send them later.
Okay.
With
Yeah.
It's tricky to plan what you're gonna buy there. I mean, maybe there are a lot of people planning in details what they're gonna buy. I do think it's tricky, but it's like I'm looking forward to be surprised at what's gonna end up there. Like the Valiant Knight last year. Will they? That was a release, pre-release kind of reveal figure. It's like, what will happen this year?
Yeah, I wonder too, because there was that sort of like tease of this Green Knight that appeared a little bit ago. Then they revealed that they're doing the armory. So right. So and then it's like, could there be something
I'm
else
definitely
that gets
gonna do the armory experience? Yes, that's one figure, for example.
Adam would like to know how many disguises you have so that you can go to the armory multiple times. Is that part of your mustache?
My plan is.
Something to consider. You're a talented customizer. You can give yourself some disguises.
I try to be honest. I don't want to sneak away with more figures than anyone else. That's
no. I know.
That's a douche move.
Yeah. Well, this is America. So, and I do want to. Yes, Payne's has got an amazing custom that he's working on for me. So, sounds like it's coming in. It's so awesome to see artists do their thing, and then obviously such an honor to have that. So thank you, Paynes. And I've seen he's been teasing it, and it's been amazing. So
what is your what have you commissioned?
It wasn't something I commissioned. It was something that he has just envisioned and created for me. I guess he thinks that I like animals for some reason. No, so it's it's Novian Lean's body essentially, and there's a mandrill head, and there's a couple of other things that I haven't seen yet, like some he's mentioning the water slide decals, but it's totally something that I didn't commission, that he was just like, hey, I want to create this thing for you. Awesome. And so I'm super, that's the homie there. So okay. Yep. So this is great. Like I was curious as a customizer how you're approaching this. I think that it's great to hear, and I hope you're able to send your stuff home. because I know it's a lot. But okay. So actually, the other nice thing is you don't necessarily need a lot of clothes to get home. I don't know how long your layovers
I'll just
are.
throw them away.
Right. So
T-shirt and a pair of jeans, and I'm good. So.
All right, moving on. So I have to. It's not obligatory. Yes. I don't get paid, but I love Spero and AWOC so much. And as I was telling you, I'm going to be working the Spero table and just hanging out with Jason for the first time in real life, Derek for the first time in real life, Adam I've had the pleasure of hanging out with him up in his home in Vancouver, or at least his part of the country, before. So it'd be nice to see him again. But today in Jolanta, they revealed that the next year's Joylanta, there will be this figure for sale. It's a Jolanta exclusive for 2025. For some reason, a lion that's colored blue with orange hair.
It's so epic. So epic.
His name being Felonious, which is cute. Look it up. It's a great word. But yeah, so this is a tribute. It's of sorts to maybe characters that people are familiar with. Ignore this part because that's inaccurate. It's actually at Jolanta where that will be. Yeah. I just wanted to show because I talked about it being teased, and I think it's fun. And again, we talked about Four Horsemen sort of being a hub, but also setting precedent in many ways. Four Horsemen are no strangers to taking their toys and making figures that feel very familiar to maybe Masters of the Universe collectors. And so I love that this is kind of becoming a tradition. This will be the second one in the AWOC line. The first was Tanger, an all orange ape with a white face and some familiar markings that may remind people. So anyway, I just wanted to share this. Are you you are a MOTU fan as well, correct?
That's what got me started. That's what tricked me into Mythic Legions.
I've heard you talk about this.
But I mean, I love MOTU, and I of the AWOC figures that I have, I think the big gorilla is my favorite with the big buck. He's like. So seeing this, I assume this is a really big buck as well.
It is. This is a new buck that will be in people's hands really soon, actually. Wait, nope, not that soon. Sorry, misspoken. There are a bunch of people going like, no, but the Gladiator Wave is coming soon. And then after that, so it'll be 2025 when we'll start to see the original version of this, which will be Hannibal in this sort of thicker buck. It's called the I was going to say brute scale. See, this is where lines must be.
But we are
Brawler. It's the Brawler.
Okay.
Yes. But yeah, it's kind of cool. And what I like about this is it also gives us sort of a sense of how this new figure will work. Some of us have seen it before, but I wanted to show sort of how the head, we've talked a lot about it on different streams, but how the head is one piece. And because of the long hair and, not wanting to have that limit articulation, you'll sort of see at some point there that it's actually a separate piece. So that the head can have full movement and do its thing, as I'm beautifully demonstrating here, and then the hair. But anyway, these guys will be at the table with me. I think it's like, what did we say, 74 or 75 or something, but I'm not entirely sure. I assume this thing will be there as well. Yeah, because it doesn't have to go anywhere super fast, as well as some other things, some fun things that'll be at the table. So for those of you coming to Legions Con, you can get all sorts of fun AWOC teases and previews, as well as look at some cool figures. So
is it kind of a little bit slender than the gorilla, but same height? Same height?
It is. It's a little bit shorter, I want to say. Yeah, it's been a while since I've I think he's a little bit shorter. He's got much broader shoulders than your standard figs, and you can kind of see it sort of in the image here a little bit. So that's the character Hannibal. And this character right here, this lizard, is about the same as their sort of standard buck. It's a new buck, but it's size-wise.
Size-wise, yeah. One of my favorite things about the AWOC line are the pauldrons. I think the pauldrons are really cool design. I like the asymmetry. I like this set of pauldrons. Like, wow.
Yeah.
So I mean, there are more things to say, but that's just one of the things that I, always react to.
Yeah, I love it too, and that's one thing that I wanted to, we're talking about having a little bit of a display to kind of show off, especially to the Legions fans and other folks who are going to be there, that like the swappability and the usefulness of some of these parts, that some of them do fit on Legions figures and other figures that you might have. But I too love that about this line, that you can kind of take everything off, and it's a nice plastic as well, but visually designed too. Absolutely love it. So I hope Jason heard that. Emil loves your stuff. So, hey, and Rocco's in here reminding people. I will say, do what you do, but be gentle with that like button. It was been a little bit weird lately, and I don't want to break it. So, okay, let's move on. And actually, in a couple of weeks, I will be joined here by Derek, and we'll be talking more AWOC stuff. Moving on, you mentioned soft goods earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And so the soft goods that were on those Legions exclusives are all now sort of designed and patterned up by the CGSM team, and they also make their own stuff, and they'll be at the show, and I'm really excited to see their things. Unfortunately, so they do like a big drop of their items, and this is all their new stuff that they dropped, I think September 2nd. And as you see here, it says sold out, but I don't know if they will have more. I suspect they will, but I don't know. Do you happen to have any?
No.
Yeah. But do you own any of this stuff?
I've been meaning to pick up stuff from them for so long.
Yeah.
I chatted with him the other, last week or 2 weeks ago, and it's like, I don't know. Everything they do is excellent,
Yeah, it's so well, like, tailored, especially, and you can kind of see it from some of the stuff here. I'm hoping, Rocco, that we do get to grab some of this stuff, because like, yeah, the tailoring on it's fantastic. So you sort of see it on the new Legions bodies. Not only are they doing great stuff for like the actual official things that they're doing with the Horsemen, but they're like continuing to share their expertise to offer to customizers who want to like now go back and, maybe you might want to have a skeleton samurai, or, some of these guys here, these dubious ninjas. You got some flags going on here. This is one of my favorite pieces. This is not this is designed by them, but this is official to the figure. But
yes,
it's a perfect example
the high color feeling is like almost like I get a little Naruto feeling to it. It's like I love that.
And the tail and the way it drops perfectly off the shoulders, it's just their patterning and everything is great. The stitching is great.
I can see that coming in more colors,
Yeah. Oh, yes. And they've got some pants for a certain barbarian. So I'm just saying, hey, they're going to be there at the show. I'm assuming they'll have things to sell. Like, why go if you're not going to sell? But even just to meet them and to sort of see other folks who are contributing to the line is going to be really great. Did you get it? I was going to ask if you were able to meet them at all.
Yeah. We had great conversations last year, and one of the memories was like when Four Horsemen they mentioned CJ, and he walked up at G-Con to sit, and I mean everyone was cheering. And it's like you. I mean, he's not the kind of guy that's like, yeah, I'm the best, but he is the best. It's like, and
humble. I love it.
Yeah, it was so to see his shock when everyone was cheering for him. That was like that was one of those nice memories to see.
That's great, and I'm glad because obviously you said it. It's great stuff. But when you're making these things, sure, you get people in comments, but maybe to be in that space and that room cheering, you're working in isolation and selling this stuff online. You don't normally have an audience clapping for you. So I'm sure that's got to be beautifully overwhelming. So yeah. Well, anyway, I'm excited to both meet them and to see their work. And in person, and so that's CJSM. But they're not the only folks doing great soft goods. There's the Strupp Family Crafts, who I hope are doing well, because I know they were caught up in Hurricane Helene and have had to, pause on some of the pre-orders they posted. And I hope everything's good. They've obviously got a clean up and all sorts of stuff. Hope everyone's safe. But they're still working on their stuff, and they will be bringing a bunch of stuff to Legions Con.
Didn't it say on Legions Con today that they're not coming? Did I misread that?
Oh, then I did.
If I misread that, then I'm sorry, but it sounded like they will not be able to make it because of this.
Oh shoot! I didn't see that. And if that's the case, that's heartbreaking, because yours, if they're watching, the stuff is amazing. And I was really hoping to sort of meet them, but I obviously, like, nature did its thing.
Unfortunately, there's no feasible way for us to do Legions Con this year.
Oh no!
There's
Got it. Okay. Well, I mean, I hope they're doing well. Obviously, that's a huge. There must be some serious damage and all sorts of stuff in the area, and it's got to focus on taking care of that. But hopefully, again, this community is great. I know, obviously, they're getting, folks are reaching out. So I hope if they need anything, I know folks will support. And wow. Okay. Well, that doesn't preclude us from talking about how amazing their stuff is, because it really is solid. So, like, hey, if there isn't a better time here, let me throw this in here. And I just realized I haven't been putting in the links to the live, folks. Sorry. But yeah, go buy stuff, support them. They could definitely use the support right now, for real. Like, yeah, it's cold and this barbarian needs something warm. So for real. And it's all quality stuff, like very similar as we were looking at CJ and Keithland's stuff. It's beautifully made, handcrafted. Like, that's the great thing about this. Like, we talk about, oh, it's toys. This is all like art. These people are artisans, craftspeople, artists, and so I don't know. That's a bummer. I'm a little bummed. But do you own any? Do you? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I will just ask you this. But in general, when you're doing customs, do you think about soft goods as a way to work into your thing, or does that not in front of mind?
I'm a big fan of soft goods, especially when it comes to capes and stuff like that you can add on. I love the sculpted soft good parts, fabric parts for the Legions figures.
Yes.
I try to look at what's available first and foremost from the figures, from the factory figures.
Yes.
But oh my, that looks great. I actually don't own any Strupp family soft goods, but I mean, there are so many good ones, and these guys are doing great stuff.
Yeah, I appreciate that they look at sort of like the sort of like design work, right? That would work for the figures. So like the little fleur-de-lis kind of things, these motifs here, and doing it in scale. But so I heard here, because I do know that you like to use the parts that come with the figures. I didn't really think about the soft goods part too. That tends to be your priority.
Yeah, but I that's not said that nothing is exclusive. I'm not saying that I will never. I actually talked to CJ about this, that I was like, I haven't, yeah, there are stuff that I want from him.
I love it. Work the angle, get some stuff. Okay. Well, hey, seriously, Strupp family, I hope everything's cool, and you obviously will be missed. This is my first Legions Con, so I'm selfishly bummed that I won't get to see you all in person, but hope everything's good, for real. There's a lot of folks right now who are having to deal with the damage caused by Helene. So safety first, and the long term, that's what they got to figure out. Got it. Carver Customs, familiar?
I love Brian.
Yeah.
I love Carver Customs. Actually, I'm gonna say that right away. Brian is doing my diorama this year. So,
okay.
Yeah.
For your table.
For my table.
Beautiful. Okay.
So I'm looking forward to see it.
Oh, I love that. I hadn't even sort of thought about that. So that's great. That's great that you guys, again, the collaboration is so cool.
Yeah.
And well, what I wanted to highlight from them, because they've got so much, was if you're unfamiliar, like, yes, there's soft goods there. I didn't notice, I didn't jump right into figure stuff, because there's so much to look at Legions Con. So in this case, accessories, diorama stuff. So you can kind of see some of the diorama work. And this is some things that are available right now. But he did tease this in some early shots of noting that, these are some of the things that I will be having at my table. And you'll notice the light up options, which is a thing that Carver sort of specializes in. And you can kind of see it in use here. Oh, so gorgeous. Just creates those worlds, right? And just brings you in. Do you own any dios or things from him? Again, putting you on the spot, not intended.
I have a torch.
You have a torch?
Yeah, I do.
Like one that they can hold on to? Or one on the wall they can hold on to? I love that. So like that's, for example, they're bringing in some of the magic because, we just got the sorcerers and wizards recently, finally in Legions. So they're focusing a little bit more on that end of things this time with this kind of light up scepter kind of thing inspired by Evelyn. And then there's another one. This one is more inspired by Zelda, thanks to Dave Williams, apparently. And just the notion of like light up crystals and stuff versus their torches, and you can kind of see some of the inspiration. I love this. Like, so cool to have as a ambient light source in your photos, in the dios, and then of course more of the things that he's had.
He will have they will have exclusives as well this year. So yeah, make sure to grab some of that.
And so like what Adam was saying about your stuff, like that's a tricky part that honestly I'm not yet wrapping my head around the reality of like, oh, if I want this, I need to go early. As much as I don't know, I like to approach my toy buying habits with as much fun and easy.
Good call.
Just because like if I don't get it, I don't get it. It is what it is,
if you have that, if you're prepared with that,
yeah,
then it's fine, because enjoy it. It's I know a lot of people they recommend you to decide ahead of time, and then you rush to that table, and if there is something special you want, then that is the approach to do. But it's not an approach for everyone, going around enjoying everything and getting something that you find spontaneously, like that's a good thing. So you don't have to rush around. But I mean, you hear what I'm saying. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Like I want to have fun. I want to relax. I want to meet people. Yes, I want to walk away with toys. It's not like I don't have enough already, but like, I don't want to be like, I have to go to this and I got to go to that. And even just, there's the stress of that, as well as like the potential stress of it not being there. And just like, oh no, if it's there, great. For example, there's all sorts of stuff that like I feel like is just really cool and unexpected to see that like he's working on like little props and little accessories like this. I love this. And I love the tease of the Year of the Dragon too. But it's just great looking stuff. Even if everything's sold out and hopefully they still have stuff on their tables and I can just kind of look at it and appreciate it, I will be happy. So beautiful work though. Just looks so good. Do you have like a collection of little like props and things, or is your stuff mainly figures?
No, I don't have much props, but it's basically I don't. You can see it behind me here. That's where I have my toys, and I have some space next to me, but that's all I have. So what I've seen just before Legion's Con now is how crowded it is on so many shelves that you don't even see the toys. So now when I removed some figures that I was sent to Legion's Con, and you suddenly had some space on some shelves, it's like, wow, maybe I only need 4 characters on that shelf because now Arakagor is really coming out. It's like, and also it's tricky. But with props, if I would do more photography, I think I would get that more of that. Now I basically, I'm sitting here and just taking photos on my desk.
Right.
But that's something that I would like to do more of. So, but as of now, I don't have much props.
Yeah. Yes, folks are already planning on going through and getting some stuff. Rocco's looking at the lights. Adam, yep. I can't buy everything, but I can appreciate everything 100%.
True. So true.
And that's the joy for me. It's just appreciating both like what's there, what's available right now, like 2024 in this time period. Like if you would have told little kid me the level of toys that are going to exist in the future, and how like you don't just have to wait for like Hasbro and Mattel to make things anymore, and all these other people are making great things. It's a good time. So Carver, you're doing Carver Customs. Check that out. Let's see. I'll close that out. We'll close this out. Let's see what else is going on at the con. Okay, let's move into like figures, because I know that that's your focus of what you do. Let's take a look at folks who are gonna be like yourself, bringing in their custom stuff. And fellow Californian here, late night LeBron, Eric LeBron, who I'm embarrassed to say I was in the same room with him, but didn't get to say hello and meet him a couple years back at the Mythic Meetup here. So I'm looking forward to getting a second chance to actually say hello to him instead of behind a chat like usual. But this one in particular, like this body that he's doing with these skeletons, I'm all about it, man. Like I am right now really into, I suspect that we're going to see more and more sort of companies looking at snake type things. Like MOTU's got their like Lady Slither's body that came out, that they're working into other like Turtles of Grayskull stuff. And to see this is amazing.
Oh yeah, I love the details. I love the
all the little moss kind of growing on his in the head, on the face and everything, and the patina, is that right? Yeah, the patina sort of on his armor. Just so great.
Great job, Eric.
Another one kind of on the same tip. Respect to the Radine in the back there too. Thank you very much. A fellow old person like myself. But yeah, I love Eric's work, and I'm looking forward to seeing his stuff. He had a bunch of stuff there 2 years ago that I was looking at, and heads as well. So this is neat to see him playing with different bodies and other sort of parts. I don't even know what this is, so I can't wait to find out there. So anyway, that's Eric, and let's see.
And what you said there about hanging out,
Yep.
Going back to the absolute top thing is that you will be hanging out with him and hanging out with others, and it's like no rush, because there are so many people to talk to, and you'll get to meet new people if you're open to it, so it's
Yep, folks. Zio's saying that's so sick. Kenzo's eyes are popping. Andrew, yeah, absolutely. That tail is wonderful. I don't know if it's just posed up that way or what, but with the different vertebrae and everything, there's just so much to look at. It's so cool. Dorlaxin, what's going on? Good to see you. This is some great stuff, and he does stuff with like bodies too. This thing, man, Red Samurai, absolutely good stuff. And you can kind of see it's a.
I actually sculpted that head.
Oh, look at yeah, that's right. Yes, I was gonna. It's not listed in this. There's a couple of things that we're going to show that actually have some of your stuff.
But
so,
this design was cool.
So yes, Emil also sculpts, and a lot of his stuff is available on different shops online. And this is through Wolf King. Is this one? This head?
Yeah, that's right. That's except for the Fun Box subscription that I do, my stuff are available at Wolf King Customs. That's where you find all.
Oh, that's right. No more Legion's shop. Is that right?
Exactly. Legion's shop it's no more. So
I forgot.
Those parts are back at Wolf King.
But again, speaking of what we were saying earlier, like these are a lot of these, the arms are things, and the pauldrons are things we've seen before, but the treatment that people take to them is fantastic. Yeah, this beautiful little this is a custom piece, right? That's not.
Yes.
Yeah. Gorgeous stuff. And I love when people take the Legion's canvas and sort of push it and show us like where else potentially what other worlds we could explore in this little format.
I like this mix of parts here. This is really a great character.
I love
seen
this as well. Looking forward to seeing Eric's stuff. Let's see who else. Oh, you familiar with this guy a little bit?
I know that guy. Yeah.
Eric Miller from EM Custom Parts. Again, one of those like folks who are super prolific like yourself, but I was amazed last year because I don't think I'd been paying attention to his stuff enough, even though he's been doing it for a while, but I didn't realize his Disney, the Disney side of him until I saw last year's table. And I was like, wait a second, like that horse, like that horse is familiar. That dragon is familiar. And then like, I guess I just must've been sleeping on this one. So this is an older one, but this is, he's bringing it back because it's Halloween over here. And the Hatbox Ghost, folks know I do have some affinity for Disney, thanks to my brother who hooks us up, who makes it affordable for us to attend Disney, I'll just say.
That's so awesome.
But yeah, are you? Is Disney part of your sort of like growing up? Did that influence
Disney is
you?
part of all culture, and Disney is even, it's Swedish Christmas is like a third of the population watch Donald Duck on Christmas Eve.
Okay, the Christmas Carol, Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Disney is definitely something a part of me and Sweden, but
gotcha.
I didn't know these characters. So when I first saw them, I had to really like ask Eric, and like what are these, because and then I've seen what they are tributes to, and it's like, oh, these are spot on.
Yep. It's great. Like using, again, it's through a mythic lens, but it's fantastic. I love how the use of this hat. I didn't even look closely to find out like what the hat and cape are from, because that's an interesting piece. I probably made them. I don't know, but it's great. It's absolutely great from the Haunted Mansion, folks, if you're unfamiliar. And then, then this was the one that really like captured my imagination. Because like this was one of those things that we were really lucky to be able to go to Epcot Center in the 80s, and I was just blown away by like this new Disney character that didn't have a cartoon or anything, wasn't friends with Mickey. It was just like this whole new creation for that park, and that's Figment. And then to see the beautiful Arachagor, or maybe it was even Scourge at the time, sort of in this colorway was fantastic. So
yeah, it's
older.
I love what Eric is doing, and I mean his customs inspired me to start doing my tribute figures.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No kidding. I didn't know that.
His turtle characters, like so many others who have found inspiration in those, I would say that's what inspired me to actually do a tribute figure.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So before you were doing things like the God's Fire characters, like characters sort of in the world, and then that's when I was blown away by your tributes after that.
I do both, but Yeah, and I've told Eric this, so he knows it.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, man. Creativity inspires more creativity, and this stuff, again, like Purple Dragon. Come on. And have you seen this character, Figment, at all?
I don't think I do.
Okay. So only because if you do, and I'll show you, it's a little different. Here, I'll just put the whole thing in here. Why don't I do this? It's slightly different. It's a unique take, right? So yeah,
well,
I mean,
this is
it's
actually
very,
the first time I see it, and now it
yeah,
makes sense.
right.
Now I understand, because to me, that was an amazing purple dragon. But it didn't see a tribute in it because I didn't know the character. But I've heard, yeah, okay, here it is.
What a departure, though, right? Like translating, and you know this because you do the same thing where you're like, you've got this character you're trying to do, but like, what would it look like through a horseman lens? And so he's got his like little yellow t-shirt and everything. So over here, this is the translation of that t-shirt, the gold armor and bits, and it's really cool. So anyway, I love it, Eric, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he has, because not a whole lot has been teased. So we'll see what's there. Even if it's the old stuff, I'm just gonna be excited to see it in person.
Definitely go and see his table.
Yeah. Kingpin Customs. Are you familiar with Lenny at all?
Absolutely. We were on Legion's Lounge last week.
That's right. Duh. Yes, you were. I was on a walk listening to you all, and I was hoping I would win something from him, but I didn't. And I think I also guessed, because he said that this thing would be very nostalgic for people, and I asked him, is it a duck? And I think it might be. I think
now it makes sense to me as well. Now I
does
know.
it? Yeah, I think I said
know.
it here. Here, so I said, hey, did I call it on the lounge? I asked duck. So he didn't say what it was, but I'm guessing.
Now it must be.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this was the piece that I was like, okay, like I'm saving money, because I love the idea of this. I love the way that Trevor was talking about the potential of painting it and sort of like getting that transition from the armor to it. So I thought these were fantastic. I love that we're getting the chest plates and more face plates, because the possibilities for custom parts is it's going to be wonderful, as shown here. Like this idea of like a ghostly, I don't know, a vision of a creature coming out of one's chest, I think is just fantastic. Look at that dragon.
Like you said, I mean, the creative outlet, that's an amazing thing for, everyone can join in. And Four Horsemen allows it, as long as we're, not doing, copying IPs and stuff like this, which I wouldn't say that this is. This is definitely an inspiration from Visionaries. So it's like for all fans without, stepping on anyone's toes.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. And so Andrew got it. Knights of the Magical Light, Visionaries, maybe similar inspiration, but no, it's great. Like, and I love that. Like, they know that folks are doing, like yourselves and Eric, doing these tributes. Like, here's parts for someone to go do it.
Have fun. It's basically like, hey, buy this, and then you go out and have fun.
Yeah.
Oh
man, that's something I got to ask the Horsemen. Just like, how does that feel to sort of create a canvas, if you will, and have people just run with it? They talked about it before, but that's got to be so like flattering. I guess the equivalent of like a band and having everybody and their mother do versions of your music because they love your music so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or create bands because they saw you is kind of maybe also accurate. Anyway, I'm really excited to see Lenny's stuff. There's all sorts of good stuff. This was something they showed on the lounge the other day, inspired by cards. I love that kind of like creative application of, like it's just different. It's different. Mark Calvo, who will be next to us over down in that corner of the hall.
Go Europe.
That's right. Yeah. Like, go, you're this stuff. Whew, again, just the paint and the choices here. This is a new one that'll be there. And so, I realize I haven't been mentioning it. Oops, and I should put links again because I know Thanos isn't here. But so people make the parts and they're available, and then people paint them. So this is not actually something that he made. Is that right? Mark doesn't sculpt too, does he?
Mark sculpt.
Oh, he does. So
Yeah,
is this his head then?
I think so. No,
Okay.
no, not this one. By Planetary Dog.
Yeah, it says that. I didn't know if like he sculpted and they printed or what. I don't know how that all works, but maybe, yeah, this is printed. Sorry, probably sculpted by Planetary Dog, and he got it and painted.
Those horns, I don't recognize those from, but I mean, I don't know all the parts, of course.
Yeah, but I love this. Right, again, just something different. Like the Horsemen are always giving us fantastic, like factory made figures, and then there's some things obviously they can't do everything. So someone's like, well, what about the guy with the horn skull on his head with the eye broken? Yeah, sure. Here you go. And I love the use of color too. Notice sort of like the hint of the different color bands around there. Just great choices. Do you look to, as far as like people that inspire you? Would you say that you take inspiration for your stuff mainly from the source material and stuff outside of the Legion circles and bring it in, or are you also looking at other people's work for ideas and inspiration?
I think I look for inspiration everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah, you can't turn it off, huh? Yeah.
No, it would be ridiculous to say no. I don't see any inspiration in this or in that.
You're right.
But sometimes you don't, or I guess often you don't see it until you're actually doing the figure, and then it's it pops up like, oh wait, didn't Mark do something? Who mixed those parts? Or maybe could be, and there are scrolling through the Cabal, and then you see a cool custom, and then you're like, those two parts work great together. Screenshot, whatever. It's like,
right.
Just as everyone who reached out to me and asked for, is it okay if I do a figure like the one you did? And I'm like, yes, enjoy it. Say if can I help with something? Then just let me know. I was like, enjoy the hobby.
That's great. I love it. Spread that joy. Yeah, and you're inspiring people because you're like trying to empower folks to make it as well. I love these dwarves. Just obviously the Four Horsemen do some great things, but they also have sort of an art direction. Like Eric very much has a way of doing things, way of doing color, etc. So it's always nice to sort of see other folks take on it. Like the way things are colored here, what's painted is different.
Beautiful. Those armors are really, really good.
The heads too, and the level of shading in there. Oh, so great. And then this was the one that I, as far as tributes go, I love a left of center tribute out of nowhere. There's a Tekken figure, King, the sort of wrestler with the animal head. Here you go in ogre scale, which I just think it looks really great.
That's a big guy.
Yeah. But yeah, you can do wrestlers in Legions, sure. I think it's great. Right. We got dragons, we got Figment the dragon, we got this. Yeah, dude, you got King. There you go, King in a Legions figure. There was a question, an important one to address. So TSJ, Terrence St. John, is one of the co-conspirators around the 1,000 Swigs. Are you bringing a Swig?
First of all, I love the idea with the 1,000 Swigs that you guys are doing, and I want to support that 100%. I'm trying my best to get my parts ready. I have 2 versions of Swig on my desk here, only in parts, but I'm trying to figure out which one I want to do. My goal is to absolutely bring a Swig. I want to be part of that.
Nice. Love it. So there you go. You asked and answered. Yeah, it's super fun. It's just one of the many like fun community pushed things that's happening at this con, and I love it. I love it. I love the energy around it. It's all super just like, let's go. Here. Let's go. Let's go. Leland, Retrospect Customs. I've been looking at his stuff too, because he's also done some, like Eric has done some really great things with lower bodies. He's done snakes like way back. He was doing some like lower snake bodies. But I wanted to
stuff, yeah.
Yep. And I wanted to look at some of his cosmic stuff. And so he's got this character. Again, maybe, I mean, at the end of the day, Eric and the Four Horsemen can do whatever they want. If they're gonna create something, they'll create something. But I suspect this isn't quite like the kind of things that they would do. And so here you go. Like you get this kind of more, almost like a orc meets vampire meets cyborg, and like really cool.
Very, very cool mix of stuff here, and yeah, and I sculpted that head.
Yeah, this was the other one, and he does say it here. But there you go. Look,
and just I don't count on anyone, tagging.
Sure.
When you bought that, but it's what I mean. It's so fun to see it with such a cool custom. It's like, wow, that's what he did. He made a vampire space orc, whatever. It's like, oh, I didn't see that one coming, and then I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of vampires, so it's like
I love that. That's right. I hadn't thought about like you sculpt a thing and then people put it together in their own way. So you like the Horsemen are getting a little bit of that, like, oh, what are people doing with this idea I had at one point? Yeah. But I also love what I love about his posts is like he really goes into the stories and everything. And I love every time he posts something, I love sort of just reading his take on the character. So love Leland's stuff. I can't wait to meet him as well. There's a bunch of stuff. The other one that I wanted to look at real quick was this thing.
Yeah, he does some really scary stuff. Like you feel it in your gut, scary, and it's like. And with that said, I love it. I love that, but he managed to do that.
I've always loved this sculpt, and to kind of see it on here is just so good. I love the transition to the sort of ombre from the red to the black. It's just so, I don't know, it's so effortless seemingly, but it's like it feels very organic and creepy.
And with the gold to it, great contrast.
So much. It's gonna be part. Yes, it's shopping being at Legion's Con, but it's for me. I tend to move through the world like I'm walking through a museum. So whether it's like buildings or whatever, and that's Legion's Con, I'm just going to be soaking it all up. It's just like art everywhere. As you say, things to inspire me everywhere. So,
but like when you said that, when you walk around, in a entrance or whatever, you see the buildings and stuff, like whatever you do. Talk about appreciating the world altogether, like really appreciating life. Like,
oh yeah,
beautiful. That's a skill that I hope people take after you. Like, because it enhances your everyday, and it enhances your thankfulness to whatever you. So I love that.
Yes, that is definitely something that I've talked about a lot, like traveling, or we live here in South San Francisco and I work in San Francisco, and it's like the city's wild, and just walking around seeing things that like trying to pay attention to things and be mindful as I'm noticing, like, wow, that's amazing, and how was that made? And Disneyland, I know it sounds like, have you done much of the Disney parks at all, or not?
I have never been to any Disneyland, but it has been a dream for all my life, when I was a kid, because that's where everyone dreams of, going to Disneyland.
Yeah. And as I've said, like we're lucky to have, to be able to go there and be affordable.
But that's fantastic, isn't it? It's just fantastic.
And so every time it's like, we've been there quite a bit. I've been going there. We lived, my brother and I grew up in the Downey area, not far from Anaheim. And we'd go, but like the rides are great, but eventually you're just sort of like, dude, look how they painted that building, or that, like, oh my, how do they keep this clean? Like there's just little things. And so some of that happens in parks, but that happens in my city too, or wherever I'm at, just kind of like looking at stuff. So Terrence says, see beauty in the chaos, absolutely, and mindfulness. Yeah.
Totally with you there.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. My bad. Yes. That is a thing that I do. Okay, this doesn't fall anywhere because I don't actually know if Nerd Mythical is going to be there. And this is just sort of like the last custom before we look at a bunch of great customs by you. But I've been sitting on this. I've been putting it in thumbnails, and I apologize to him if I don't even know if they've seen it. But I've been putting it in because I've been wanting to talk about it, and it just sort of, it keeps moving. And so I don't know if Nerd Mythical will be there. I hope you are, because I love your work, and this figure in particular. It's all just, as it's pop and swap, but he calls it, what did he say? This was bashed and flashed. I love it. In last
flashed.
Yeah, like I love that. He's like, he put it together and took a photo, bashed and flashed. But I love this combination of parts and the use of like the crown over the eyes, just creative parts use. I'm a Lego person. There's a CPU is a creative parts use, when you use things not necessarily as they were intended, but in new and exciting ways. So I love seeing the crown in this way. And anyway, I love this figure.
My God. So this is one of those examples when I look at this figure, and then I see a part combination that I feel like I want to try that. And I can see, like, for example, there's a custom I'm working on, and it's like, wow, do you think he mind if I'll copy those two pieces together? Like, it's excellent. I love it feels like such a unique character, even though it's like,
even though it's all parts,
a believable character, like I could see him.
I love the way his head sits in that cloak as well. Just the weight, or like, the size of the cloak compared to the skull is fantastic. This thing is cool. That's why, it's like, oh, I hope they're at Legion's Con so I can say, hey, this is fantastic. I love your work. And there's so much more. So folks, if you haven't checked out Nerd Mythical, please do. As I've said, everything that we're showing will be at that URL. That URL at the bottom, as well as that QR code after. It's just a Google Doc. It's not like there's no ad revenue or nothing. It's just because that's how I prepare. And like, I love to have a record so I can go back and see this stuff. And I'm a visual person. So I want other folks to go as well. Go see it, go follow, go do all of that stuff. So can I just say, like, these boots are some of my favorite things that they've done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I actually don't think there are any boots that are as cool as those.
Yeah.
They really are the number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay, so this is the part where, like, let's talk about my co-host, my guest, because that's what's up. You are doing some amazing stuff. We've already talked about he does this, like, but he does this. You mentioned the tribute figures. I love your tribute figures, and we'll get to your other stuff because it's not all about your tribute figures. Your original stuff is excellent. So
thank you.
This is new for you. This is a world that this is the first figure of Warhammer that you've tried to do in Legions. This was a commission?
This was a commission.
Were you yourself familiar with Warhammer?
I love Warhammer 40K.
Okay.
I've been playing for a long time, but I haven't had an army for quite some years. Since the Grey Knights didn't get the Primaris figures, I was like, no, sorry.
No, that's great. I love it. I love when there's people who are nerdy and passionate about a thing that I know nothing about. It's just another thing for me to explore. So was this like a college thing, a high school thing for you, Warhammer?
Well, I actually owned a store for a long time that we were selling Warhammer. And I went to Warhammer World in Nottingham, England, on a sales course. So I love Warhammer.
Nice. Okay, so that's a hardcore thing for you.
Yeah.
So it took you a while to get around to doing it in Legions, then, huh? It took somebody else wanting to do a commission.
Well, I mean, I didn't have. I had another figure actually on my desk, a 40K character, but there was always some parts missing that I couldn't find. Like that doesn't sell it. And when I got this, um when I got this commission, I was like, wait a minute, this character is, it might actually work, because it has some mythical, I mean, fantasy aspects to it more than just space. So it's like, wow, yeah, I'd love to do this one.
Oh, that's awesome. So in the original, I didn't even look at the source material because I'm not familiar with Warhammer. I remember seeing them in hobby shops all the time as a kid and being intrigued. Is this one of those big hulking kind of characters too?
Well, it's not one of the hulkier. It's a space. It's. I mean, I mean, every space marine is hulky, but there are so much hulkier.
Oh, okay.
Um,
But silhouette-wise, would you say this is more of like a Legion's kind of slimmed down thing compared to the original source material?
I think the pauldrons and the legs can always be bigger when it comes to that universe. And the thing is that the lower legs needs to be bigger. But with this soft good, this is actually a cape that I put on place. It kind of hides some of that, and it removes because the silhouette isn't depending on the legs as much for this character.
Right.
So I was like, oh, I don't need to go there. But still, that was the thing that I worked on up until I decided I didn't need to do it, because I played with a lot of different ideas. But it just, and there's like, oh, I don't need it. And so for example, the bands there, all of the, the white bands, those are the belts that come with every figure.
Yeah, I'm sure you've got a lot of material.
Yeah, I just cut them apart.
Love it. And so what about the head? I didn't look at the behind the scenes on this one.
The head is actually a skull, and I cut the back off and made it smooth. And then I took this absolute neck piece from another figure and glued it in place.
Oh, okay. So you've Frankenstein a couple. Sorry,
Yeah,
you cobbled a couple pieces together.
Yes, and the mask is actually green stuff, kind of like Milliput.
Got it.
You put it on here, and the bolts up there, they're also parts from leather belts.
Really?
Yeah, I just took small pieces, glued it in place, and then I used an X-Acto knife to just sculpt them a little bit.
Wow. Okay, that's cool. So these are carved up little Legion's belts on the heads, and then that's great.
So this has some more customizing. I know many likes the customizing, but my goal is always to strive to use as little modifications. But this one had to have it.
Oh, that's amazing. That's really cool. And it's cool that you had the opportunity to go back to Warhammer and kind of blend it into.
Might be more in the future. Cool. I know there are a lot of people waiting for the Ox Crew Cosmic Legions characters, but with bulkier armor to do characters like this. So
that's awesome. And I don't think there's any offense meant to the source material, but he really likes your custom, saying it's better than the source material.
Thank you. Well, that's very kind of you.
And Zio, I know for a fact, is really into Warhammer. Zio's got some amazing Warhammer customs. Like, talk about recontextualizing Warhammer. Like he'll paint them in some of the just popping colors, eye-popping colors, bright greens, and it's just it made me appreciate the franchise even more. I was like, wow, those armors look really great in all those colors. So,
oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
All right, let's take a look. Oh, you know what? No, I did see this. That's right. I saw you. I was it was viscerally responding to seeing you peel that thing off.
Yeah.
I forgot that was that head. So it was a tusk. Was that the tusk?
Yeah,
well, I guess that helmet came. Yeah. Oh wow!
And I think it looked good without the face mask, but then it wouldn't be in this character. But I like this look, you know?
Yeah. No, because those sculpts are great. The skeleton sculpts are great, but this looks really cool. Yeah.
Skulls are always fun as well. It's like, to me, I always love skulls.
I love the idea of this. Is the character a skull, or is it like a human wearing a skull mask?
It's a mask, yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I was gonna make a joke about the health conscious mask wearing skeleton.
Yeah.
This thing, you all talked about this on the lounge. This is going to, who was it again?
Rob Zamora.
Oh, Rob. Yeah. Rob was really, yeah, he was talking about it on the lounge in the chat. This is based on the Sideshow Court of the Dead stuff. I think ever since I've seen those things, the designs are great. But when I saw what you did here and how you did it, taking that Demistros head, or that style head, and turning it into this was amazing. Am I right about that? Did I catch that right?
No. It's actually a Chrono skull.
Oh, okay. So it's just a skull.
That I cut apart, and I carved it from the inside, so it works as a mask because it's Artemis face below, and the horns are from Krotos.
From Krotos, got it. Yeah. Krotos is the smaller guy, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I love him. Oh well, for some reason I think it's because of the thickness of it that I assumed that it was that.
I think so. But I made it so it would cover some of the hair in the back. But it's very thin. It took a lot of time to carve that.
Yeah, you had to just cut all of that material out.
Yeah,
make it a mask. Wow, that's amazing.
But it was, I think that was an important, when we're always talking about the silhouette, talking about the silhouette and the main shapes and the head, just like with this was the centerpiece of this figure, the most important part. So it was worth the time to put into it,
Yep. And the way this is, it's like connected by like a little piece of like link or something.
I mean, as the character, I think it's just by a link. For me, I just glued it in place.
Yeah,
it's just super glued there, so it give the illusion of them being attached.
Are you painting that piece separately before you glue it down, or how does that work?
I had glued the face before. Yeah, I think I might have painted them. No,
that's a lot of work, man.
Afterwards.
Wow, really?
I think so, because look, if you look really close, doesn't it look like there is a little bit brown on the cheek?
Oh, right here. Sure. Okay. Wow, it's amazing.
But actually, I painted the whole gray as well afterwards.
Really?
I think because I had the face mask glued. Yeah.
You like to make it extra hard on you?
I don't know. It seems to be the way I did it.
And has this just been you experimenting, like in terms of like figuring out what glues to use, or what happens when you cut parts out? Is it just, are you talking to other people giving you tips, or you just?
I play a lot with the parts, so it's like
you do.
When I'm looking at stuff and I can't figure it out, I go through bins and it's like, hey, what's this? Oh, this part, I've forgotten this, and I that's so nerdy. But it's and I scroll through Four Horsemen, the website. Isn't there a character that has a head that looks like this? And then I scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. Nope, there is no one. Okay, I have to, or there is.
I appreciate that so much from the team. Just a quick note, like their site, I think is a really useful tool in terms of like being the repository of that, like having a checklist so you can quickly see the images, and then wave by wave, all of that stuff. Some of the lore stuff, like it's really useful. Even some of the like, a guide to like the different body types, and I just
yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I was just gonna say that's my dream to help like get Spero's site, something like that. Like eventually, so it's like a useful like for the fans who can really go back and track all this stuff. So
do that, because fans really want to, if you're interested, then you don't want to stop. You want to keep reading. For this, it was a lucky stroke, because I had already said yes to the commission, but then Egyptian Gods were released, the figure obscura, And it's like,
okay.
wait a minute. Now I have the soft goods. I have the arm with a ring. I have an arm with a lower, the lower arm. So her left arm and I was like, wow, that was a lucky stroke,
Yep. This right. Yep. And
No, the other side.
This side.
this
Sorry, this one with the ring.
well.
Yep.
Yes. So they're two different arms. But
yeah, man, you've like, I'm not even gonna. I'll ask you in person. We don't need to talk about it in public, but I just can imagine your buying habits. You've got like buying figures for customizing and stuff. That's amazing.
That has been when I started sculpting and realizing that from the beginning of me collecting, I didn't have money to collect. So for starting my toy collection, it was always like, okay, I buy a lot of figures, keep that, sell those. Buy two, keep one, sell the other. Stuff like that to make the. And when I started to sculpt and sell with Wolf King, the money was reinvested into, I can actually buy the figures that I want. And now at this stage, when I'm doing a lot of customs, it's like, well, that was pretty lucky. Now I have plenty of parts to pick from. It's like, so very thankful for that.
That makes sense. And and hopefully people are paying you well. I'm assuming, because this work is fantastic. And if you were just to pay for the parts alone, let alone the time, the energy, the creativity, all of that. So
I've set a fixed price of $400.
Okay.
So it's $400 each, and it so people know, so people don't feel like I'm trying to whatever, try to peak prices. But standard size figures are $400, and then it's up to me to. I mean, if I need a $150 part from a box, then it's
your choice.
It's my choice to make it, because I want to make them as good as possible for people. I don't want people to buy a character and feel like, aren't those just cheap parts? No, it's about this.
No way.
Like, here we go. That's when I started painting it.
Yeah, I forgot this was here, but your behind the scenes stuff is great. I love sort of seeing this, and I'm a process person, so I love kind of looking at it, and you can appreciate all the work that had to go into getting it to the final piece as well. But this is nice. See the whole thing.
Yeah, I tell people, if you want to do, if you think $400 is a lot, because it can be a lot for a figure, but like if I put too many hours into it, So if someone asked me, "Oh, that's a good way to make money," I was like, "No. If it's only for that, then go down and work at the local grocery store or whatever. You'll make more money per hour than what I do with these. So don't do it because of that." But I love making them.
Yeah.
And since I love making them, then it's worth it. It's like that's how the balance goes in my head.
Yeah, no, this truly is art. It's sculpting, it's everything. And so whoever has this, or we know who has it, but you're not making another one anytime soon. These are one of a kind, beautiful, like just works of art. So 400 is kind of a steal, but there you go. I know that's not for everyone, but man, gorgeous.
I know, and it's, thank you.
Yeah, you do. Yes, yes, and I'm laughing because I remember, what was it, like 2 years ago when you brought a bunch of stuff but weren't selling it? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
2 years ago is when I actually sold my first figure.
Yeah.
Because I said no for a long time, and the whole year before that and that. But then Travis Bowles was standing next to me, and he was like, "What? Why don't you just ask what would they be willing to give?" And I'm like, So when I got the offer to, interest to buy my Batman custom, I was like, "Well, I'm not selling, but if you would buy it, what would you want to pay for it?" And it's like, and he said 400, and then it's like, some people might say like, "Wow, that's perfect," but for me it was like, oh, maybe that is actually the limit. Maybe that is what I feel it would be worth selling it. And it was like I started to analyze myself, and it's like I had always pictured them always being on my shelf. But I also saw when I ended up selling the rest of the Avengers. So it's that same trip, the Avenger customs. So the Batman and the Avengers. Then after that, things started to happen, and I just did my first commission. And during that spring, I started to sell figures and do commissions. But it started after that.
Why don't we go right there? Since you're there, can you tell people, like, if they're seeing this for the first time and looking at your work, if they had an idea and wanted to do a commission, what's that process like? And like, how do you like to decide if that's something that you want to do or not? Is that like a year out too? Are we talking two? Like, what's your process for someone who wants to approach you and do a commission?
So there are a couple of things. I mean, first, reach out to me. Ask me, but I have the price for so you don't have to worry about, more or less. So if you're okay with that price, reach out. And if you don't know the price, reach out. And when I say the price, and then you just say it's too much, it's fine. We don't have to feel. This has been the trickiest for me to sell, because I'm not a salesperson, even though people make fun of that. Like, you sell the customs for. That's not smart. I know people who sell customs for less, but make more if you compare it to the time. So it's anyway. We talk about the character, and then if there's a character I already know, but then we start to discuss what the character is, because I want to make sure that when I say yes, I can. I am up for the challenge that I want to do it. And because if I can't see anything, if I can see some ideas, then I'll start. If I can't see anything, then we have to keep discussing, because I don't want to say yes and don't deliver something that I feel could be great. Okay, two things. That is, if you are in a rush, don't ask me now, because it takes a long time. Many of the figures, I mean, some wait a couple of months, some wait 6 months. Some want the figures shipped when they're done, and some want to pick them up at Legions Con. So I already have people asking me for next year's Legions Con, because I've said no now. Now I'm finishing the ones that I have. So
right.
So if you want stuff quicker, then that's not now. Maybe that's enough. Yeah.
I think people are willing to wait. I just wanted to give them a sense, because some people are probably like seeing this stuff and have never thought about that, and might be shy about it or whatever. So I think it's really helpful for you to talk through that and do as you did. So,
and I promise not to be rude or anything. I just but it's interesting to understand, because the first thought sometimes can be like, I don't know that character, and then we keep talking, and like Big Dub who ordered the Chrono Trigger tributes, and it's like, I don't know the characters. I don't know so I watched so many YouTube clips and I've all the timelines about all the characters, what's happening in the game. I kind of know these characters, and then it makes a lot more fun to make them.
That's so great. So you'll do the research. So Big Dub had obviously a fan of Chrono Trigger. I don't know it. I remember seeing it. So, but I remembered right when I saw that, and I was like, it's not familiar, because what I remember was more like anime, manga. I'm forgetting. Oh my gosh, I feel so bad that I'm forgetting the artist's name.
Akira Toriyama.
Yes. Sorry. Rest in peace and power. But these are some of his like older, greater characters, because it is such a huge RPG world, and it's like totally like just filled with all sorts of motifs, right? You can kind of see there's barbarian stuff, there's animal stuff, there's robots, there's everything in it, and it just kind of comes together. So I didn't realize you had zero familiarity, and that someone's like, can you make this? And you did all this research to figure it out. So that's really cool. And then ended up with this. So is this being delivered? Will he be getting it this year?
All the Chrono Trigger characters will be on display at LegionsCon.
Amazing, cool.
So there are two left.
Did you do 3? The frog, the woman, the barbarian-ish woman?
No, I've done 5.
Oh, there's 2 more. Okay.
So it's yeah.
Oh, you did the robot. That's right.
So Magus up to the right there, he is here. I only have a few details left on his face. Then he's done. Teaser, you know.
Okay.
And then it is Luca, down to the left.
Oh, awesome!
I have been I have had all the parts for her except for the head ready for many months.
Oh my god, I can't wait to see that. That's really cool because she's such a unique looking character. I'm curious how you pull that off.
Exactly. So that's like, how do you catch the character? I mean, how do you I mean, because the head won't look exactly like that. But how do you capture the character? So it's, I mean, do I do glasses or do it something else? I have a couple of ideas. We shall see.
That's really cool. And so have we seen any photos of this yet or not yet? Okay, got it. Because I do remember everything else. These. Oh, and her. That's right.
He is wearing those favorite boots of yours.
Yes. Yeah, he is. So here he is. Look at these. I love it. Again, colorways that we hadn't really seen yet. So it's so cool and so great to see this head sculpt used in this way. It's just completely transformed. So good.
That's I really like that sculpt from Eric. That face.
This is a piece. This is the soft goods. Where's that from?
From Poxus.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty bad, Emil. I am still sitting on a bunch of figures.
I mean,
figures. I have a Poxus. Yeah. Anyways. Oh, he looks so good. He absolutely looks great. Just as a character.
This was the trickiest thing. How do you get the feeling of that hair?
Yeah.
Right. Because
how do you translate that to legions?
Yes.
Yep.
So that is something that it's not. I mean, I attached a couple of horns from another figure, another Legions figure, to the sides, 2 horns on each side, and then I attached that's another belt strap, the white there. The belts are excellent,
amazing.
And the except for the customized head, it is the sword that is a sculpted sword that I did in the past, and I've used that for many figures. It's like a basic kind of katana. It's not exactly a katana, but it's a
right. I love it. I think it's such a great and again, I didn't realize that you didn't have familiarity. I need to read more, basically, but it's really cool to sort of to see again go through your brain through the Legions filter. But
Legions, that's painting with the Legions canvas. I like that.
Yeah, and then maybe it's more accurate to say through the Wickman filter, maybe, because you're making those choices. Okay, let's see.
We're all using the same parts.
That's maybe something that more folks might be familiar with are DC comic characters, and your DC stuff is fantastic. I put the Lobo in the thumbnail, and we probably wouldn't have time to look at it, but this thing also, like, I love that Lobo, and I've always loved that head sculpt in particular. I have an unpainted one, just supposedly when I start painting, the someday when I do that. But this thing, like when I saw this, like, no, this is the DC figure I want to talk about. Killer Croc.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thanks.
How did you approach this guy?
Well, the head was the thing that I could have come up with easy by using, Scourge or Arakagor as one of the heads and have the feeling of it works, it's okay, but it's that I could no, it wasn't right. So it's like I tried a couple of different things and ended up with this. It's a merge of Kragnar's head or Scourge,
the top,
one of his heads, and the vampire face from Decibelus, the vampire ogre.
Yeah.
And then actually, these small pieces to the side are from the back of Noveen Lean's head.
Oh, these right here. Okay, yeah. Now I see
small, it. So I just, because to make give him a little bit of a chin.
So good.
Small,
just that combination of, and then are you like cleaning up the seams with like milliput or
green stuff?
Green stuff.
Yeah,
okay.
But I think I did that here as well, or maybe I don't think I did. I just used super glue, and then I used an X-Acto knife and kind of pushed it down, because the super glue helped shape the when I pushed plastic in with the super glue, it kind of shaped a little bit. So I didn't use any green stuff there. So the face is made without green stuff.
Okay, so these parts are just sitting on top of one another.
Yeah, glued in place.
Amazing.
I've carved a lot behind before I glued it in place.
Right, to get it to sit. But wow, it's relatively it's seamless, and of course the scales help disguise it.
Yeah,
Right?
that's the thing. They help sell the look.
It's so good. And
the one thing that I looked at using his own legs, but it's like you can't have scaly legs and sell the idea of him having pants.
Yeah,
so I had to take the bare bones. So I have a character with scaly legs now in my pile of parts, and it's like, what will I ever do with that? Well, I don't know right now, but we'll see. One day you're just gonna be like, I wish I had. Ooh, I do.
Right.
It's like
that's what happened to the leftover parts from that.
Yes.
Oh, the head looks fantastic. It's amazing to know that that's like cobbled together. I don't think did I do? Oh yeah, that's right. Here it is. I didn't look at this. I just saw that it was there. I was like, oh, let me look at that. So I didn't actually see what you were describing. So now that you're saying that, I'm like, okay. I knew what parts were involved, but I didn't see how it all sat together.
Yeah.
Look at that, man.
So this is before I cut more stuff off, of course, but it's like, so here it is.
Did you?
No green stuff there.
Wow, the first time that you started cutting parts up, was it hard, or were you just like, yeah, no, I need this, I'm just gonna carve it up?
No, it was hard. I mean, it's like it's like when you paint a figure for the first time. I can't paint a figure. It's
right.
Do you know what this costs? I can't paint.
Yeah.
And but now it's more like, what part can't I use? So
that's amazing.
But it's so much fun, and it's like, what are my greatest hobby? Yes, it's collecting the toys, but it's also making these. So it's like, so that's worth a lot. And if it makes me able to, of course, sell this figure, then I can buy more parts and do more figures and enjoy doing them. And hopefully make some money along the way as well, but still cover the parts costs and stuff like that is worth a lot.
It's fantastic. I love it. All right, here's one. Star Wars, one of my favorite IPs in the world, and Darth Maul. So you've done a great Vader. This year you went with Maul using Pox's head, which I think is so cool. Yeah, I don't know. No need to say too much, I guess, but because it seems like, I mean, is there anything that you wanted to say other than like how hard was because what I'd like to know is how hard was it to paint this? Like, you get mad at like, why did they design this character with these damn tattoos? But
actually, when you look at this character, that is the tricky part. So I mean, if every little single part of a figure is that, then it might get annoying. But
it's
not in this case. Here it was more like I enjoy doing this part.
Okay.
Since the rest of the character was easier, you know. It was the head was the major part, but it was also the idea that came from the head. You know, like, oh, we could make a Darth Maul out of that.
Yeah,
so this
it's
is
really
one of the
cool.
things that is not reserved and will be on sale.
Oh, really? Okay. And I really like the choice to make the sort of elongated Zabrak horn things, because there are images of him where they're like more
that's
out there.
I've actually, those are the original horns on Poxus.
Right, but I'm saying the decision to not shave them down to try and get closer to what was in the movie, I guess.
That is awesome. I didn't, because that is one of the things that I figured out. What should I do? I cut down the three long horns, like the first one. I cut it down, but ended up keeping it. But I find like that is one of the things to keep it the Legions related, you know. So it's not, because of course you can go in and you can sculpt every part, so it's like, wow, that's exactly, yeah, that's because it is that character. But I don't want to go that way.
Yep.
Everyone can do whatever they want to, but I don't want to. So I have had requests of people like, can you sculpt this and make that for your character? I was like, no. If you ask me to do it, I'd be happy to take this challenge on, but I am gonna use mainly Legion's parts, and I'm not gonna sculpt a part specifically for this, because then it's like cheating. But I might end up using other 3D parts, but I'm gonna strive to go with Legion's parts.
Oh, I think it's great. I think it's great that you've kind of, for this work, you've created like parameters for yourself, because that's where.
Yeah. So people, that's another thing. If people ask me for a commission or something, that's like, this is how I want to do it. Yeah. And people can say like, well, aren't you stupid? You can just take the money and do this. Yeah, but that's, maybe I don't, you know.
No, it's they're asking you for your work, so it should be done in the way that
with the parts. Yeah, the Eric Treadaway, the master of all sculpting. He's truly the master. So it's like getting to play with. Sounds real. Get to play with his parts. Can you say that?
Yeah, we'll chalk it up to the language.
In his sandbox, maybe.
Sure, either one. A little bit. That's okay. No, I think it's great. I love this, and I love the look that you've. So it's, I don't know if you intentionally put position his eyes so that he could do this upwards there. Is that, was that an intentional choice? Yes. Yeah, beautiful, smart. So smart.
A lot of the eyes are painted black. So that's painted on the eyes, you know, because his eyes are quite big otherwise.
Yeah. So much of what you've done to kind of like work with the sculpt, even the nose, I think looks so beautifully like mean without a nose, but painted on. That, I think it looks really good. Anyway, love it. You took an icon. What's great about this is you're taking iconic characters. There you go. And working within the limits, the creative limits you set up for yourself. And I think that's the beauty of it. I hope people appreciate that, because you're right. You could sculpt exactly the thing that you want, but you know, that's a different type of fun. Yeah, it's a different type of fun.
Yeah.
Hey, great job on that. Okay, a little shift. This is a friend of yours. Is it Sumya Das?
Yes.
Sumaya Das?
I think it's Somya.
Okay, Somya. They do stories. Are they writing as well as doing the artwork?
He is a comic book artist, a creator. He has written great stories, you know, that he has put up, self-published on Amazon.
Okay.
And this is a character from one of his upcoming books that is coming this year, I think, or next year. And I met him at Legions Con.
Nice.
So
I feel like I saw it. Maybe I didn't bring it up, but he did have on his. Is it a picture of her like kind of coming down the stairs? Is that
Yes.
her?
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Extremely scary.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and show that for reference. So here it is, right?
Yeah.
Oh, such a cool looking, like classic horror creature. And then this was your translation of that.
Yes. And that was I had some more images to go on, but it was like it's you can see this the spider feeling that she's horrible, but she's also like luring you into with her well, what do you say, sex appeal.
Sure, sure.
Come here, and then it's like, and then oh, she's a spider, she's gonna kill me. Too late, that's
succubus kind of thing, or the mermaid siren, or very cool. And I love the use of parts, obviously, like that. Some of this is just, it's perfect because of was it Okatos? Is that his name?
Yes.
Perfect choices. And I love the longer arms too.
That was the main customized part here, that I really had to make her arms longer.
And so sculpted out of
I had a photo of it, but I basically cut the arms in two and pinned a metal pin into it, and then I put green stuff over it.
Yep. So like the metal is like your armature
liquid
kind of thing. You're building on top of that.
Yes.
Beautiful.
So that's
I love it. Were you, I didn't ask, but were you like traditional sculptor as well before this, outside of digital stuff? No?
No.
Amazing.
Just playing a little bit with green stuff here and there.
I love her big feet too.
That's also so because I wanted, the spider feeling of a big, thick bottom of it, like it's spider. And it also makes her feel scarier, with that. One of my favorite head sculpts, it's like, that's a very beautiful head sculpt. And that contrast with that, the rest of like, I shouldn't be attracted, but I am. But no, it's I'm dead.
It's like, hey, whoa. Yeah, no.
Too late.
Great stuff. And so you'll be delivering that this year.
Oh, he already have it.
Oh, he already has it. Okay, got it. And then let's go to some classics. Frazetta, who arguably like helped kick off his artwork, probably kicked off a lot of those fantasy stuff that now, in the tradition that Mythic Legions is in the tradition of. And so it must have been kind of neat to be able to do Death Adder in Legions. Selfishly, I'm like, man, I wish they would do this just so I could have like this figure in Legions parts. But
Death Dealer is, he's an icon.
So
it was like, how do I do this? Again, the head was, important. And I looked at different versions of the Death Dealer because it looks quite different depending on what comic or interpretation you do. But I think it worked out well. That head took some time.
Was that 3 different parts?
Yes, it's the Sir Gerard skeleton head, attached horns, and then attached that face.
Amazing. Is the necklace from something else?
That is the necklace from what is it? Elithia.
Gotcha.
And so the only thing, it's the skull on the belt, and I'm not sure I think the soft goods are also original. I think it's only that attached skull that is not Legions. I think so.
Yeah, is this maybe like a dyed Alithia part or something?
Maybe one of the soft good pieces that could be from another figure, or maybe I don't know. I don't remember.
How long ago did you do this one? How long ago was this? Because I imagine with all these different ones, some of these are got to be worked on.
This is 24 weeks ago. So, but it will also be on display at Legions Con. So it has been waiting here at my house.
Okay, it's beautiful,
Yeah,
especially on the horse. Whew.
So he has been commissioned with a horse as well. So it's there.
Wow. Now let's get into your original stuff.
Yeah.
So someone says, and then we should wrap up. I know it's getting late on your end, but so someone says, I want a Minotaur and a warrior. Do they give you more than that? Is it just like you design it? Or?
A little bit more, but not too much. Then after that, I asked some questions because I wanted to, like colors, what color, hair colors, eye colors, things like that could be important. And if that wasn't important, then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start doing this. So one of the questions here, for example, was to have it as an ogre, a Minotaur ogre scale, and I was like, I can't say yes to that. I really can't, because I have to, think what parts would I use to do that. And it's like, I know there are 3D parts that are really good for a Minotaur head, but I really didn't want to go that way.
Right.
So, but then we ended up with a brute scale, and then that's how we did it. And I suggested white armor, and some face paints. So those horns are attached, but I think, and that I've added some green stuff to attach the horns. But all other parts are Legion's parts.
Wow.
Yeah, well, the horns are as well. It's just that click of green stuff, and everything else is non-modified.
And the green stuff being
where the horns attached. There you go.
Right around here. Yeah. To build that out. Beautiful. I love the color choice, because you've got, this really dark body, so to give it the white armor, but that weathered look too. Really cool. Love the idea of like weathered, because white is so pristine and so clean, but to see that it's like worn and battle damage is really cool. The face paint is really cool. You said that did they just say we want face paint? But
no, I asked, could I, since they wanted to look, they're gonna be warriors, and I was like, I wanna give her some face paint. So I just asked, would that be okay? And it also gave me a chance to add the green, because the green was one of the colors that was wished for, that I had first planned to get into the armor, but I wanted to do it more like white and black. So I added some green paints there as well. So it's on the face and on some places on the armor.
Very cool.
So so that's from Krampus, the neck piece from Krampus. And the fur piece is from the isn't it from
is
the
it from
green brute scale?
Brute scale orc? It could be. Doesn't well, I don't know. The Cyclops has a gray fur on him as well. I don't know if you use that.
Because then I could, again, build a silhouette. This is perfect what I mean. Like it needs to be bulkier, and it goes together, So it's.
I really hope we get something like this. The what are they called? They're not called Minotaurs. Are they called the Minotaurs? There's a species name in Mythic Legions.
Or are they called Minotaurs right now?
Like Torion is.
Well, there are Shadow Minotaurs and Minotaurs.
Oh, they're called Minotaurs.
Different ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they are called Minotaurs. But I would love to see a larger Minotaur like this in Legions. So I think it's great. I think the combo of the two characters together, this person, you're getting some great stuff. So congrats to you.
Thank you.
And then, of course, this one, which you talked about on Legion's Lounge, this thing is fantastic. Can you talk about your Carnotaur and with the spit too? Tell us about the spit.
like so many of us, we want a black dragon, a dark dragon. Now we're getting it on Big Bad Toy Store, but that was after this. I wanted that for a long time, and I've had him on my desk for a very, very long time, almost finished. Almost. And I've shown it. We're doing a customizing studio every Sunday. It was some time ago since I showed this and where I was, but it's like I couldn't see what the last pieces were. And I realized that actually it was what you're looking at right now. It was the cape. I added the cape, painted the sword, and then I added that saliva or slime or whatever in them up, and that sold the whole look, because then it felt like there is the anger, there is the wrath that I want to come through. So I pack that as good as I can and really hope that it won't get destroyed, the slime when it arrives at Legion's Con.
What is the slime?
It's glue.
Like, okay.
It's well, I don't know what to. It's not super glue. It's
not hot glue. Is it like?
It's not hot glue either.
Okay.
Just standard glue.
Is
like
it
you
hard?
just put it there, and then it start to dry, and you attach it here, and it's like you attach, and then you attach.
Oh my gosh!
And you put there, and you attach.
Wow.
It's like I'm not the first one who does that, but it's I've been waiting for a good excuse to do that, and now I feel like I want to do more with spit.
Yeah, I'm looking at, what did you do with the jaw too?
Yes, I actually I haven't done anything except for I've opened the jaw, and to make sure that it stays in place, I've glued it here. I've not done anything with the jaw. I just glued it in place because I realized that
so you don't want it to ruin the glue.
They can just destroy it.
Got it.
And that I came up with afterwards. So first I made the glue, and I was like, I have to make sure that it stays in place. I have to go in afterwards and like add glue and just make sure this.
I can't wait to see this.
So my idea for him is that this is the armor is old, so maybe he can just stay in a cave and sleep for 100 years, and then he comes out for the next mission or whatever he has to do. And he's not. He's old. He's a dragon. Are you still here? Yeah.
I am so sorry. What a awkward host thing to do.
It's not awkward. It's when it's like when two friends are spending time together, and then one of them feel like have to go to the bathroom or something. We can still.
Okay, cool.
I'm fine.
when the drunk friend passes out.
And the drunk friend.
So yes, Brick is frozen. I love it. Okay, sorry about that. Second time that's ever happened. I don't know what's going on. It's only San Francisco. We're not used to technology, but we were in the middle of talking about this. I just wanted to kind of end it. I love the use of your soft goods on this. Great choices, and just all around the patina on this, the armor. Awesome. So I can't wait to see all this stuff in person, man. And I can't wait to see you in person, because we barely, man, like, you're prolific. So as you already started reminding people, he's an author. He does a bunch of other stuff. He sculpts a bunch of custom parts that people, as you saw tonight, are turning into custom figures. And I know that's only like just the beginning of all the things that you do, but we didn't get to look at everything. Can I just say thank you for bringing all of these wonderful like worlds into the Legion's sort of, again, canvas. You got Lord of the Rings, you got Marvel stuff, you got, everybody's got Ninja Turtles. You've got Marvel, Harry Potter. That stuff was wonderfully surprising to me, to kind of see how you translated those characters that I've only read about but haven't visually seen.
That's an extremely fun project to read as much lore as I can about the founding fathers.
That's so cool. And then Mortal Kombat, didn't mean to gloss that over. You got a Mega Man, that was super creative. Nintendo stuff. Look at that, Wukong. Star Wars again. Here we go. For you Joe fans, look at that bat. Awesome. Ahsoka, one of the coolest characters in Star Wars. You got Marvel. I talked about this on a. This is perfect, man. Your Colossus.
Thank you.
So good. Your first love, Masters of the Universe. I'm surprised you haven't.
That's my favorite character, also Trapjaw. Trapjaw is I have my Trapjaw shelf here. I love him.
How many? You haven't done too many tributes of your own to MOTU, have you?
I think it's only Trapjaw.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was a commission?
No, it was not. It was just with a pure love of doing it, but it's sold.
Does that feel like, is it because, I'm curious, since it's your favorite, is it because it's already sort of being done by the studio too?
I've been thinking about that as well. When I do something, I need to get it out of my system. But when I do a figure that I love, and I plan to bring it to Legions Con, if someone wants to reserve that figure and have it at Legions Con, then I still have like 6 months or so to have it, to own it, to have it in my in my show, so I can look at it a lot. So it's like it's not that I get bored with it, but it's more like, yeah, I love this, but I also seen that every time I go, you're gonna have some paint rub and some little bit more paint rub, and yeah, so it's more that they get to another home.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, again, it didn't stop there. We've got the Star Wars stuff, which we saw a little bit. This is the Lobo that I absolutely love.
Lobo is another one who's not sold.
Oh, he's so good.
One of my absolute favorites.
Was I right that this is is this one of the cases where you use a 3D sculpt, or is that another figure that I'm not knowing? No, it's Marley, isn't it?
Yeah, he could Marley.
Oh my god, I just
the
put
one
two
with
and
the
two
lower
together.
jaw. I just cut off his jaw and moved it up, and then I made a cut for his eyebrows to point them down a little bit.
Brilliant. There's the frog, little robot from Chrono Trigger. Your Bane is amazing. Such a cool look. Awesome. Some Marvel stuff, Harry Potter, the Transformers. Who would have thought that would work? And you did it.
Thank you. That was an interesting project for sure.
That was a commission as well?
Yes.
So definitely check out Emil's stuff. I'm sure people already have, but just go check it out. I'm still waiting to find out what the rest of those Chrono Triggers look like, and I'm excited to kind of see what's going on at Legions Con and to meet you face to face. And I promise not to get drunk and freeze. I actually don't really get drunk at all, ever.
In the hallway the first evening, like, hi, Brick, and you're like,
yeah, I'll just freeze, just awkwardly.
No, it's gonna be great to see you there. I'm really looking forward to it, because that is the main thing. So please, everyone, just, even if you don't want to buy anything, just come and talk. Come up and talk and interact, because that's and it feels awkward sometimes to go up and be interacting. Just do it. I mean, if you stand close to me, I'm gonna talk to you. So you don't even have to feel, if you don't know how to say hi, but
I feel like if anybody's ever seen you speak, like on this show tonight, they probably realize how approachable you can be. So I hope. And so, as Nolan says, just talk Legions, no pressure, and people will just go. And so, man, I really can't wait. And thank you so much for coming on the show. Is there anything else you got coming up before Legions Con? Or maybe, I don't know, as we mentioned at the beginning, you might be doing some podcasts and stuff that people should look out for?
I have done some podcasting so far now, but so now I don't have anything planned for that.
Okay.
So it's basically planning for, I'm finishing what I have for Legions Con, and I can say something for Wolf King Customs. We are sculpting an exclusive set of parts that would be available at Legions Con with Wolf King Customs. That's where I do my sculpting. That's something I can say.
Okay. And okay, well, I'll leave it there.
For now,
well, only because I feel like, did you mention, are you teasing that, or because you mentioned something on Legion's Lounge that you're revisiting an old world? Is that it?
Yes, God's Fire.
Okay, so I didn't. You're being more cryptic tonight, so I wasn't sure if you were.
No, sorry. There are more stuff coming for that. That
cool.
storyline. for customizer, for people who want to have fun with parts. You know?
Yeah, and we're running low on time, and I froze up, but God's Fire, check it out. Who all is involved in the God's Fire work? There's a couple of you all, right?
Me and Stephen Bisciotti. We have Len LaGuardia of Wolfkin Customs, who's printing all of the parts. We have other like Curtis Ackerman is involved more than he thinks he is, because he's a driving force behind that, and there are others.
So it's a whole sort of like within Mythos little kind of realm, right? It's connected. Yes, it's beautiful. And so when I saw that, and other companies would really struggle with that idea of people kind of rubbing up against their IP. But I just, again, that's one of those early examples when I was getting into it and sort of saw the existence of that, and of seeing how like the Forcemen are really supportive of and encourage their fans to kind of just take their toys and take their world and play. You mentioned the sandbox, like they love, they're inviting people to come play in the sandbox, right? And so I love that.
They are amazing. They are the source behind all of it,
the hub, this indie toy hub. That's really so many of us, like we're all there. I'm gonna throw that out there. So really quickly to so Fanagan, and again a talented toy maker himself. Your customs and sculpts are amazing, and thank you, Fanagan. God's Fire is back. So yeah, you're super prolific. Folks love your work, and man, thank you. Thank you for hanging out with me for a little bit and covering as well.
Thank you so much for having me.
For sure. Next Sunday and every Sunday we do this Brick Something News thing. So definitely come back next Sunday. We'll kind of continue that. And I've got some awesome guests. I've already sort of spoken about them in the beginning. But I'm also thinking, because there's been we're in an amazing time of toys. We've been pausing to talk a lot about Legion stuff, but there's so many other true like newsy stuff that I've been really into. I might even do some non-Sunday little drop-in streams. So this is where I say maybe like and subscribe and hit the bell button so you can find out about that. Yeah, see, I'm a professional. Anyway, thank you so much. Check out the 2 Words That Save Christmas and everything. Emil Wickman. Trying.
Nice.
Yeah. Have a good night to you and to everybody else. Here's where I'll sort of play music and pretend that I'm pro again and then sign out. So thank you, everybody. Say goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye.
Woo. And pretend there's music playing. Here it is.
Ooh, yeah, there it is. Singing to the music.
Yeah, see now, like this is that club. This is where maybe, not me, but other people get drunk and freeze. And,
no one can see us dancing. That's nice.
There you go. Yeah, they can't see us. That's right.
That's
Thank you all. Have a great night.
You too.
Appreciate you.